Hi, welcome to AP Language and Composition. My name is Mrs. Dunn, Reier, and it's truly a pleasure to work with you and your child this year in order to help him or her be successful on the AP test come this next May. I'd like to show you a presentation that was originally given to students so that you can see the things that they've been presented. So let me share my desktop with you. Welcome to the world of what we've been doing the last few weeks. So glad to be back to normal and have our class back. Hang on, just let me get the right one there. All right, so we're going to go through a PowerPoint presentation that was, as I said, originally designed for the students. So let me flip into presentation mode. And just know the first thing is that I have the safety and welfare of your student in mind at all times, and not just your student, but all students and staff at the school. So I am very strongly emphasizing masks on over the nose at all times, please. If you could help me with the over the nose thing, I'd appreciate it. They stand outside and wait to come in. They show me their ID. I put hand sanitizer in their hands, and they go straight to their desk, which was just wiped down with alcohol at the end of the previous class. So the best way to avoid tardies is just be in the classroom by the time the class starts. So no running, okay? And we don't have to worry, I hope, about being online again. So we're not even going to talk about that right now. So when the clock indicates the start of class time, they just need to go to their seat. So I'm not a stickler that they need to be in their seat by the start of class. So when they do get to class, again, masks on at all times. I do keep candy for them for mask mouth, we call it, though. If they need to suck on a hard piece of candy, I've got mints and butterscotch candies. So they come in, they do a bell ringer. They take out their class material. The bell ringer will either be based on something with reading or something with mechanics. Mechanics are the grammar and conventions of the English language, like spelling, punctuation, subject-verb agreement, all that kind of stuff. So what is it that drives our course contents? We have an AP test slated for Wednesday, May 12th. The time is to be determined, but it's a 3.5-hour course. It is made up of 3 different essays. We spend 1/4 on synthesis, 1/4 on argumentative, and 2/4 on the argumentative analysis essay. Right now, we're starting with synthesis because it's most familiar to the students and they're a little rusty from last spring. So I thought that we'd start with something familiar. When they take the test, they have 1 hour for the synthesis essay. That includes 15 minutes to preview 6 sources, skimming and scanning, and then 45 minutes to write. Each of the other 2 essays is 45 minutes to write. Right now, that seems unbelievable to them that they'll be able to do that. But I promise by the time we get there, if they stay with me, they will be able to do it. There's also a multiple choice section. There are around 45 questions on that. They get an hour for it. So how is this scored? Each of the essays is scored on a scale of a 0 to a 6. You need a 3 or higher on that to be considered in the range where you need to be. My goal on this first synthesis essay was to have them at a 2. Now, they come up with a magic formula that takes these essay scores and the multiple choice scores, and they multiply the multiple choice scores by a multiplier depending on the difficulty of the readings from year to year, and they come up with a score on a scale of 1 to 5. 3 or higher is a qualifying score that most colleges will accept. These scores will be available to students around July 15th. Now, one thing that's encouraged is that students who have a school computer are encouraged to bring them to class with them fully charged. They may use them in class. They just need to make sure that they keep that computer with them at all times so it doesn't magically disappear somewhere. So where do kids and where do you find things as far as what's going on in our class? Last year and years before, I've used Edmodo heavily. You may be familiar with your students talking about that. But now, after last spring, we have a one tool does all, and that's Teams. On Teams, you'll find our daily lesson plans. I'll show you in just a second, but includes everything from what we're doing in class, what the homework is, what the bell ringer is, what our standards are. It's all there for you. The bell ringer is available in class. It's either on the board or it's on our TV screen. Homework is posted in the lesson plans at the very bottom for each day. Handouts and short readings are attached to the daily lesson plans. Students download them before using them. Major readings such as Great Gatsby, I do have novels for each student, but I will also put a PDF up on our Teams so they have a digital version as well. So this is what you're going to see when you go to an AP class. You'll see our different channels, and we'll be using some of them less than others, like we won't be using the class videos now that we're face-to-face, but you'll see the lesson plans. And each section lesson plan is highlighted, and it goes on to talk about what our bell ringer is, what the teacher's doing, what the group is doing, what the individual is doing, and finally the homework, so they can find that each day. Homework should be uploaded by the start of the next day's class unless otherwise noted. Now, again, I'm having students turn in as much work as possible on focus. We don't want to be handling papers any more than we have to. So it's due the next class. Those with extended time, that would mean it's due this following class. And you know if you have an IEP 504 or are an English language learner student. So they need to upload it to Focus in one of these three formats. So if they're taking pictures of an assignment, if they can insert the picture into a Word document, they can upload it. Again, Microsoft Office is available through the school district online. You can download it there. With grading, I use the district grading scale. I put a lot of assignments though in as effort grades. Students are learning, and then some of the bigger assignments like essays or the Common Lit, which are assessments, those are graded on number right or wrong. Basically, all points go in as total points. They're all grouped in one category, so students can always know where they're at with the total number of points and their number of points and how many they need to bring up their scores. Individual assignments are worth different number of points. That's how I weight the grades. There's one Common Lit that's due each week, no later than 10 p.m. on Sunday. It's assigned on Monday of each week. I do ask students to put an alarm in their phone for Sundays at 7 p.m. to make sure that they've got their Common Lit done. So you might want to check on that one. Late work is accepted up until 5 days late at a penalty of 10% per day. Weekends count too. Students can stop the clock or turn in late work by filling out a missing work slip that is on Teams. They know where. And attaching that to the assignment in Focus and uploading the assignment. And then they email me to let me know that it's ready for me to go back and grade. A 0 will be entered until it is graded, and late work is the last priority in grading. I grade it usually once a week, most often on weekends. Students with extended time, and knowing what the extended time is for everybody, basically if it's due the next class, theirs will be due in the following class. Common Lits are due on Sundays for students without accommodations. They're due on Thursdays by the start of class for students with accommodations. Zeros are entered just as a reminder for students on an educational plan that that assignment needs to get done. It's a reminder for me, for the student, and for the parents that it's not in yet, but there's no grade penalty as long as it's in by the extended time deadline. And then the 5-day late work policy kicks in after that. So students have to wear an ID all the time. They should not be borrowing supplies because of safety factors. If you could make sure that they have wide-lined, wide-ruled notebook paper, A blue or black pen, and gel pens write much faster. A funny color pen like purple or red would be very helpful. That's what they need in class on a daily basis. If they're using, I've tried to use the binders and they end up in folders. So they can decide at this point what's working best for them. We wait for any activities that kind of interrupt the flow of class until there's a break in the action. The middle 20 minutes of class are for bathroom breaks. I do enforce dress code. And right now with COVID, no food or drink in the class because I don't want those aerosols to land on anything. Students are welcome to see me with any questions or concerns before 7 or after school. I can't help them with 3-minute passing period. I'm not giving them the time that they deserve. They can email me. Please encourage them to use proper etiquette, that it is a formal writing that they're doing when they're emailing an instructor. So don't email me in texting language, okay? And they have the ability to text me or call me on my Google phone number until 4 p.m. That's the same for you. Tutoring is on, or makeup work is Tuesdays after school from 2 till 4 p.m. Again, if that doesn't work, they can talk to me about another night and see if I'm going to be around. I'm usually here. There is no safe room though as of now. So usually that doesn't start until about November if we get the funding. So they cannot be in school without supervision. So they need to have a ride at the end of their time in tutoring, or they need to go to another teacher. They cannot be just like watching football practice. So again, please know that at the end of class, we do wipe down books we're using or desks with alcohol wipes, and then they go stand on the spot in the floor, and I come around, I squirt hand sanitizer in their hand, and then they are dismissed. So I hope that gives you some insight into our class. Here's how to reach me. Email is definitely the best way. I'm very good at responding to those. There's my classroom phone number and my Google phone number that you can also text to. I thank you very much, and I look forward to having a great year.